Hello and welcome to Arsenal Above All. Arsenal getting out of Madrid with a 1-1 draw in the first leg of the Champions League semi-final. Could have been more, should have been more. But we've got the UEFA referees doing their usual UEFA referee business, which we saw in the second half, and Simeone being Simeone. And, let's see what he does next week, if he can do that stuff. I've got Brian Haley with me. How you doing, Brian?
Yeah, I'm good, Mike. Yeah. We've got a lot to depack in a short space of time, so let's go.
Let's get into it. Yeah. So after the basketball match that took place yesterday, we had a bit of a more of a cagey affair. I don't know what I put. If you've probably seen what I put up there, Arsenal, what Atletico Madrid 1, Arsenal 2. That's what I was kind of thought when I got ahead of myself and I put down that we were going to score the penalty. So that's probably my fault that we didn't get the overturned. But yeah, Arsenal. After that game yesterday, amazing game. We've got to tip our hat to that. Just the attacking football that we saw was outstanding. But, for me, I was looking at the other end, which some people have, and that's the defending. What was your thoughts on that game before we get into our one, Brian? And then maybe I can try and amend this slide and put it up with the right.
Look, it was, as a neutral, Mike, it was, you couldn't ask for much more, could you? To be honest with you, 9 goals and, some great individual performances as well. I didn't really care too much about the defending yesterday. Strange enough, because it was basically being a neutral, so you don't really care about it when you're the neutral, even though they're a possible opponent in a final if we get past our own semi-final. But I think that the second leg of that will be extremely interesting as well. I'm not too sure that we will see the open football we would have seen in the first leg. But to be fair, both teams can only play one way, to be honest with you. So that'd be interesting. But look, I know we've probably had some chats, and there's been chats around the ether, should we say, of the Arsenal fan world. That we would come up against any of those sides, we could be in big trouble. But I think what we showed today was how, for the first 45 minutes, is how you play European football. Yeah.
KG, solid, solid base, and you kind of take, you're working your way into the game, and different way, like you said, of approaching it. And I thought they looked nervous in the first half. They were giving the ball away a lot. So did we, to be fair. But I thought as the half went on, we definitely dominated, and obviously it led to the penalty shout. Some people are saying all 3 penalties were dodgy. I thought of all of them, our one was more of a stone wall. We'll talk about Ben White's one in a minute, where if the guy doesn't watch football, does he? But if the guy knows when he's playing in the Champions League, they give as soon as the ball hits your hand anywhere, they're gonna likely give it. And I don't know why he's going into a tackle with his arm dangling out like that anyway in the first place. You see most people kind of tuck it away. But we're ahead of ourselves there. But just in the first half, as we were building, and then we got that penalty, Bri. What was your thoughts then? Because for me it was like, okay, we scored at the perfect time, just before half time, and then you think, okay, I heard people talking on the radio and say something, Arsenal can win the tie in the first. In the first leg here, they can get another couple of goals. I was thinking, no, we've seen this story before. Where, all season long, we've scored goals, we've gone ahead, and it's like, okay, we can just chill a little bit now. We can just take it easy. And we gave them the initiative in the second half again, because all I was saying about this Atletico side was, they know in the back of their minds what happened when they came to the carpet earlier on. They got turned over, even though after the first hour it was quite tight. But for me, it was like, okay, they're going to try and do everything they can to make sure that they get out of there with a lead, try and blow us away a little bit, try and almost try and put the tie to bed. They didn't do that, and one of the key things that I think we've done tonight is that we've killed that home advantage that they had, because they didn't get out with a lead, and when they look over the piece, yes, they hit the bar and everything, but I think we've sort of done half the job, because we've killed that advantage. We saw what that home advantage can do, especially in the second half. So in the first half, they wasted it. Second half, they used it. The fans got behind them. We saw Simeone's antics and the players' antics, winning free kicks and what have you. But yeah, just what was your thoughts just like, after the penalty, and just how we sort of came out in the second half for me? Because it was just so frustrating. We just gave it to them on a platter again. And that penalty came from us being really sloppy again after, taking the lead.
Well, I think you covered it, Mike. I think it's been a story of
you can't hear you. Or
can you hear me, mate?
I don't know if you're on mute or...
No, I'm not on mute.
Your sound's gone. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Don't know if your sound's gone. Oh, actually, give me a second. Yeah, you might saying your mic isn't connected, Bryce, so maybe you might have to...
Can you hear me now?
Your mic's saying this mic's unmuted, but it's I still can't hear you. Hang on, do you want me to come back in? Do you want me to take you, remove you, and you can come back in? Maybe that works, yeah? And I can go into the chat.
Okay, mate.
Give me a second. Let me remove him. Cool, and then you try and jump back in. See if... Yeah. I think I can hear you now, bro.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you, man. No worries. You all right?
Yeah.
Yeah, don't happen there. Simeone, man. Simeone. Let's blame Simeone for that. Yeah, go. Sorry, man. I went on a bit. So go ahead. What do you think?
Yeah, no. Yeah, I just look. As I said, we've seen this story play out, most of the season. To be honest with you, I'm not too sure why this is continuing to happen. It's getting more and more frustrating. And with 5 or 6 games to go, we've got to start to think about how we actually, again, we've probably spoken about this many a time, how we game manage football matches. For the first half, we literally played probably the best half of European football that I've seen for quite some time, away from home, for 45 minutes. And particularly in that environment as well. And then I think yes, they had a system change, which probably we didn't take into consideration. And again, this is in-game management with that
Yeah,
system change, where they went a little bit more direct and had a bit more a two up top to a certain degree and played a kind of more 3-5-2. Um, and it was like we just it was like it was foreign to us. As that system change it was foreign to us, and all of a sudden we were making mistakes. We were making elementary mistakes. We were having people kind of just getting bypassed. But then also they did put the squeeze on a lot more as well. They put the pressure on the press on a lot more. Um, but that's where again this is where the manager comes into it. You have to make those certain tweaks in game. You know, Atleti made that switch at half time. You know, you should be thinking in the first 5 minutes you could see that particular switch. So you get some instruction out there to change the system, to change the system slightly
yeah,
to accommodate that switch until you can probably go into a game where you could possibly match them up at some stage and really then try and kill it. But it was an opportunity for them to be allowed to get back into that game because we just didn't manage to switch well enough.
yeah. Yeah, it was strange again. Like I said, I'm so frustrated that we came at that second half. Obviously, they got the crowd wound up, and we just played into their hands again. A lot of people making a lot of silly mistakes, kicking the ball out of play. I mean, Gabriel was doing that again in the first half, for the first 10 minutes. That guy, he just seems to have just lost all composure. Like you look at Saliba on the other side, who's been immense for the last 5 or 6 weeks, just superb, like flawless, total composure, and then you've got Gabriel just giving the ball away and stuff like that. But he did make an amazing block, in the second half. And fair credit for him. Great defending. We'll go into that in a minute, the penalty. I mean, Jesus Christ. But yeah. So just go back into the chat. Thanks for everyone who's joined tonight, and thanks for the comments. And Brenny thinks the Atletico pen wasn't the pen. I tend to agree, obviously, but for me, the way Ben White is just going into it and dangling his arm out, and the pen, and the referee, UEFA referees, will give stuff like that. That's what they do, and I was disappointed with his second half as well. He could have given away another penalty on Lookman when he had that chance. If Lookman had gone down, that would have been a blatant penalty. He just flung his leg out and didn't even look to see where Lookman was, so he could have given a penalty away. And I just thought his performance just got progressively worse. But that's probably because the guy's just so still rusty and everything, and because he's hardly played. But yeah, it was. There were a couple, which we'll go into in a little bit, that were a bit, just looked a bit rusty. Odegaard gets dragged early again. I mean,
Well, look, I think with that, Mike, the game again, it was the system change of Atleti there has kind of left him kind of in a position of kind of playing in sort of no man's land in that sense, kind of a chasing the shadow in there, and particularly with their higher press as well. He was going to be the one that was going to get sacrificed.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, I looked at it and I thought to myself, look, we could have matched them up. We could have just changed system if we wanted to. We could have gone 3 centre halves as well, to be brutally honest, and compact our midfield as well, just to match them up. Yeah. Just to do something slightly different and to give the opposition something to think about. We don't do that enough.
Yeah.
We really don't do that enough. Athletic just played on us with their change, played on us and found the spaces and played with the two up top and made it difficult for us. And we tried to ride the situation out, and then ultimately, it cost us in that sense. What I will say is that I think the last sort of 15 minutes or so of the game, we started to take a little bit more of control on it, but the game started to open up a bit as well. So would Atleti have the legs in the second leg?
Yeah,
I think what has possibly shown is there is a level of weakness there. I think they might not necessarily have the kind of the legs to get them through. The second, I think the second leg, if we really do put a good press on,
yeah,
um, I think you know we just can't let them do the housery stuff.
yeah.
The typical Simeone housery stuff. We can't allow that to happen.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And that's one thing that was interesting as well to see was that these guys have pretty much, they've got their Champions League place, pretty much done. They're going to finish. They're going to finish fourth in the table. So then, so you look at that and you think, okay, they should have been fresher, really, but they weren't. They weren't fresher. And we looked like we were the fitter side, even despite all the games that we've been playing.
Yeah.
So you're right. I think it definitely gives them something to chew on. And I think we've got to get obviously Saturday out of the way. Yeah, huge game as well against obviously Hayland boys as well coming back. But yeah, it was interesting to see that how fitter we looked. As the game wore on, they looked like they were hanging on, and I just thought as long as we got out of there with a positive result, I think we'll be all right. Because again, I just think that home advantage. We saw in the second half how frenetic it was, how noisy it was, and how it galvanised them, and that for the first 20-25 minutes of that half, it really gave them some energy. So yeah, we sort of killed that home advantage for them, and I just think now we just have to deal what we've got to deal with on Saturday. But I think if you're starting the season, as I think as Neil said in the chat, unbeaten in the Champions League still. If you're said to any of us, a champion, would you take a second leg in the Champions League semi-final, second leg at home, 1-1 to get to the Champions League final? We're taking it all. We're taking it absolutely all day. So it's a massive opportunity now for us to, do what we've got to do on Saturday, and then sort of make sure we blow these guys. Because after that, I think we've got about 8 days or something like that off until we play West Ham. So there's a bit, or something like that. I read that. I'm not sure. I might not be right, but we've got a bit of a break. Yeah, I just think that we got out of there. We'll talk about the Eze penalty in a minute, but let's just go to the chat because there's some great comments in there. Thanks everyone for dropping in. Yeah, Max saying Madueke moaning about getting hooked when he did nothing. Needs to be studied. I think he was having a go about Rice because there's a bit where I think him and Rice were chasing down the same ball, and Madueke wanted to get it to try and go at the defender again, but Rice got it and he played it backwards, and then I think you saw some gesticulation from Madueke, and then he got dragged, and then obviously he's gone on there and stuff. But if he starts doing stuff like that, then Arteta's not going to serve for that because he doesn't like seeing stuff like that, does he? Neil said this vertical and horizontal means you don't get to see all the participants in the chat. Oh yeah, okay. Shame that. Hello to all the vertical format. Yeah, he's looking at the way the format is. Yeah, it's a bit weird getting used to it. Saturday's a focus now. Need to win by a few. Yeah, I just think just get the win, and because the way we are at the moment, we score a goal and we're happy to sit on it. How you doing, Nick? Big up, gents. We could play a lot better. They were happy at 1-1. They're in trouble next week. They have to attack us at the Emirates. Yeah, big opportunity. Yeah, absolutely.
And and I agree with that because they've got a stick or twist on that one. Because do they go out and play their statutory 4-4-2, or do they go back to playing 3-5-2, which caused us the problem, knowing that they have to chase the game? So it's they've got to come out, and that's not what Atleti are normally all about. They're not the ones to having to come and chase a game per se, and particularly with no away goals now as well. They've unless they're going to hang for 120 minutes, and I don't think that squad or that side can hang out for 120 minutes. I don't think.
No. And I think obviously the most dangerous player was obviously Alvarez, obviously, because we know how good he is, and everyone sort of wants him. He's the one that everyone's chasing in the summer. But looked like he got a bad one as well. He looked like in a lot of pain. So I think he's a danger. Griezmann is going to be in his last dance kind of situation where he could be. He looked quite emotional tonight before the game. But I think, as Max says there, they couldn't keep up with the intensity, especially in the second half. And again, with the games that we've had, and the way that we were kind of, Jesus looked, the ball was sticking with him. It looked like, but a lot, again, nothing in behind, was it? It was just all to feet and everything. So it's going to be interesting to see how he's used now, especially between now and the end of the season. But yeah, I just think as long as we were on business next week, we'll have no problems. But yeah, obviously everything's leading to Saturday. Thanks, Nick. Thanks very much for that. Daniel James is in the chat. The vlog guy, how you doing? He's satisfied with the result. Good stuff. Her ref decisions are awful. Yeah, Europe. Yeah, it's just. Yeah, it's crazy, and we'll go on that. I mean, because you look at that, and even though it was glancing, he kind of went down there and he hit on the side of his foot. It's a foul. I can't understand.
It's contact, Mike. It's as simple as it gets. It's contact after the ball has gone. Yeah. Anywhere in that on that pitch, other than the 18-yard box, that's a free kick.
Yeah. It's crazy. It's absolutely insane. It's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous decision.
Yeah. Look, the thing is, it's something we can't really worry about now, but we can use it as the aspect of the positive.
Yeah.
That we got robbed, but let's make a difference when we're back at the Emirates on that. Let's not hang that over, a tie that, basically we should, yes, we should win. To be honest with you, we don't want that hanging over it, the two legs. We just don't, it's gone now. We've come out with something, and now we just go there, back at the Emirates, and put in a performance that takes us to the final, and that's all we need now.
Yeah. I just, I'm the worry was that we were gonna come up against it tonight and probably possibly on the end of a difficult one. Not hiding, but just a bad result. And I think the key thing was to get out of there tonight with a result that keeps everyone, ticking over, keeps everyone on their toes. We can take confidence from this. We did what they did. They tried and they got away with. They only got a draw, and they know they're coming to ours to do what we did to them. Hopefully, earlier in the season. Daniel says, "Hey, we will pick them off at the Emirates." They've seen 73 goals in all competitions this season. They've only won 16 games on the road to the league. So we're definitely favourites to go through. And yes, Steve said at times they had 6 at the back, difficult to break down, but they have gaps to exploit. Yeah, absolutely. Nick's going strong, 4-0 at ours, 1-1 at theirs. We got away with this one, but I'm not sure they will be super confident. Yeah, I don't think so. I think they'll be very, very, very concerned. And I don't even, did we get a corner tonight? I don't think we got a corner tonight. I can't remember us having a corner, which is kind of. I have to look on the stats and see, but I don't think we've got a corner tonight, so they'll be happy with that. But let's see what happens if at the Emirates we need Gabriel to get on a couple of them. Nick saying Ben White ball actually came off his shin, so harsh. Yeah, it did. Yeah, it came off his shin, but his arm for me, his arm's out there, and you just got to tuck it in. You just got to just be smarter, and he's like that, arm sticking. Don't need to be out like that, mate. You just be clever. Nick saying would love us to go through, face PSG and beat them. We're beaten Bayern this year, and we owe PSG one. Yeah. Scary game though. If we did, whoever we play, even the hater pundits said it was a penalty. Anywhere else on the pitch is a foul on the yellow. And Oliver Coist actually said one thing. If it was at the other end, that would have stuck. They would have stuck with the penalty. If that was Atletico, they would have given that. They would, it would have stayed a penalty.
Yeah.
And that's one thing. Right. Yeah. And hi, Cheryl, and we've got one corner. Yeah, one corner tonight. So I'm sure Jova won't be happy about that at all, will he? He's got guys looking at his bonuses. Obviously, he probably got a little boost when he gets paid tomorrow for the Eze one, even though it was kind of an elongated set piece.
Yeah.
But let's see. So let's give me a sec. Let me just share this, and then where are we? So let's have a quick look to Saturday, Bri. So this, I think this was the lineups tonight, weren't they? Yeah. So what you doing? What you doing on Saturday? Obviously 5:30 kickoff. Obviously looking ahead to the return leg. But what are you doing? Obviously, Gyökeres and the front three got taken off quite early. Quite early. Gyökeres wasn't happy at all coming off. He was not happy. But what's your thoughts on what we do on Saturday?
Look, the issue I think is because we play 3 days later. So this is the stick or twist kind of situation there with the squad in itself, isn't it? Do you bring in a Christian Norgard into a game like this? My personal view, I think we should. I think it's a difficult one because obviously with them with no Jurriën Timber, Ben White is likely to start again. I don't think it's a difficult one. I think on that side, I think would he start with Mosquera? I think he might possibly look at Mosquera actually in the second leg actually. That's what I would generally do. So I think Ben White, he got substituted today anyway, so he probably will start at the weekend, I'm guessing.
You think he'd go Mosquera instead of White against Madrid in the second leg? Yeah.
I probably would. And people would look at the White Saka combination. And that's likely to happen. It's likely to happen. But I just think we just need to be a little bit not cautious, but I think a little bit more strong is probably the best way I can think of it. But a bit, and it also by having him in is that you can, again, not that Arteta will probably do this, but you could shift the formation around a little bit with having him in there. And you could go for 3 centre halves and shift someone further, possibly someone on the right hand side to play a little bit the wing back if we need to change in game. But that's obviously for next week. But for Saturday, look, you have to be looking at playing someone like Christian Norgard in a game like that. You cannot be expecting Zubimendi or Rice to be playing again. Yeah. And then expecting them to play 90 minutes again, and potentially with a potential playing 120 minutes on the week after. You can't be doing that. Calafiori he needs the minutes. He needs to play, as far as I'm concerned, at the weekend. again to get some minutes in the legs of his regarding if he has, he has to come in and do a job at some stage on Tuesday night as well.
Yeah.
Trossard will come in. Look, I think there will be. You're looking at least 4 or 5 changes. I would look at. Yeah, I would look at least 4 or 5 changes for the weekend. Saka will probably come in for Madueke just again get some minutes in the legs, and he'll probably come off and have the change there as well. I don't see. I see Gyökeres still starting. And you might find that Trossard will come in as well at the weekend.
For mine, early.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's probably why I took off Gyökeres quite early, but
yeah.
But yeah, it's interesting. I don't know. I probably would be thinking of maybe Mosquera for White, because I just thought White second half was really disappointing. He just fell off, but again, it could be just because he's rustiness and everything. And Chukwueze is quite lively as well. So in terms of pace as well, so Mosquera will probably be able to handle him. But wish he kept that shot down that he had when he came on. Just hit it too high, didn't he? That shot that Mosquera had. If he kind of got it wrong, he probably would have scored. He just hit it too clean. But yeah, go on.
Out of Rice or Zubimendi, one of them won't start the weekend. You cannot have both of them starting at the weekend, I'm afraid.
You think, wouldn't you? You think it'd be a game for someone like Norgard. He's up against Sanderberg and Lukic in midfield, and you're thinking, okay,
a bit of muscle in there, a bit of physicality.
Yeah, you think, if he can't play against, let's be respectful. They're chasing the European place, but it's like, okay, he should be able to come in and do a job against them. And keep things ticking over. I mean, and then obviously then you can kind of swap a little bit with Rice, give him 60 and then bring Zubimendi on, or vice versa. Rather than just running these two into the ground. It's just crazy. Neil saying Trossi, for Martinelli for me as well. Dan saying White is a shadow of his former self. 7 summer. I think he's definitely off in the summer. We just need to get the 3 points. And Neil saying, Brian, he doesn't trust Norgard.
And we know that, and we know that. But look, as with the games which are coming, you cannot be expecting, Rice or Zubimendi to go through 90 minutes tonight, potentially. Well, look, one of them's probably going to end up playing 90 minutes at the weekend. It's going to be which one is who's going to play the 90 minutes, with the view that potentially you could play 120 on Tuesday night.
Yeah, I think of that. Yeah.
That's absurd, really. With what 4 games left of the season when we critically need it. Something has to give, and if it's anything, it's a home game where that has to give.
Yeah,
you have to rely. You've got to have a squad of people that you rely on that should be able to give you a performance at home, and Christian Norgard should be able to do that. Otherwise, you know what, you may as well not have Christian Norgard at the club next season and just replace him, sell him on and replace him with somebody else.
Yeah,
because it's we as fans all know that the fact is he could have done a job for us in certain games this season, just to give us something physical, something a challenging, make us, you know what I mean? Yeah. And it just hasn't used, and I know what Neil was saying with regarding to the trust. He's absolutely right. But look, look. Let me tell you something. He trusted Jorginho at times.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did. Yeah, 100%.
You know,
It's just crazy. It's just
so
crazy. He's not even played 90 minutes worth of football
yeah,
in the Premier League for Arsenal.
yeah.
That's that's crazy.
And
Crazy.
yes, Jorginho did a job for us, but you're not turning around saying to me in the current state of some of our performances that Christian Norgard could not do put in some shift for us.
Yeah.
So not right.
Yeah, let's hope. Let's hope he does a little bit of rotation. I imagine Saka will start. Probably get a half. He slipping over a little bit when he came on, but he played the pass into Eze to win the penalty. That wasn't. I think Eze played really well when he came on. He was causing them lots of problems, dropping into the pockets and doing stuff. And I think he's definitely got the bit between his teeth at this time of the year. Our next game is going to be in in May. So we've got through April. The stats and winning percentages go through the floor in April. So we're going to be past that. So let's hope we can get revert to form and get the even a draw tonight. So the win percentage came down again in April for Arteta. So let's hope we can get back to it on Saturday against Fulham. But yeah, if you'd give me that, I think if you give me that start of the night, a draw with a fairly decent performance, in terms of the whole piece, I would say that we're definitely the favourites to get through. We just need to make sure we press on that. And as the guys have said in the chat, obviously we haven't lost yet this season in the Champions League, which is pretty special. Great achievement for the guys so far. We just need to put in a really big performance. And I think I said to you, I just think in the running, I think this Arsenal team just need a convincing win along the way. The sooner they get it, the better. It would be great to get it on Saturday. It'd be really great. I just think we need to. Again, it's another game where we scored just one goal, and we've only scored one goal in a game when we have scored, and I just think we need to sort of score 3-4 would be great. But I just think we need that to just get everyone to. Okay, we can do that. We can put chances away, because I just think that's the thing. That's just hanging over us at the moment, and having always to rely on the defence to sort of get us out of trouble. And you just need us to get a convincing win, and I think that will set us a lot over the line. And the sooner we get it, the better. I think that Saturday will be great, but if not Saturday, next Tuesday will be even better. And then we've got West Ham after 5 games, not 8. 5 days, sorry, not 8. And then we've got, I think, an 8-day break before we play Burnley. So there is some respite there in terms of turnaround and everything like that as well. But no, God, what you going to say, Brian?
I think just the return of Bukayo Saka's, I think, important for this weekend. I think he's an intelligent boy at the end of the day. I think he realises himself that where we are, the games to come, the importance. I think he will bear a lot of that on his shoulders, but he's probably seen from not playing what we've not produced.
Yeah.
And he would want to look to rectify that himself by creating chances, creating the chances, taking chances as well. I just think he and Eze are going to probably be and I think we've spoken about this already. Him and Eze could be the difference. For us with the next 4 games or 5 games to come.
Yeah. I think that as well. I think they're the two. Eze's on it at the moment. We need Saka to get to some sort of optimal performance level. 70%, 80%. Let's see some of that, and that will be. I think that will be enough. to get us over the line, I think. But definitely Eze, you know, we need to keep him, you know, wrapped in cotton wool and get over the line, man. Thanks for this comment there, Scorpion. AFC Wimbledon fan here, going in for you guys. Yeah, I've got a soft spot for AFC Wimbledon, the proper Wimbledon, not the manufactured IKEA, you know. Milton Keynes, you know, Dons, what they did with that club, absolutely outrageous. But yeah, AFC Wimbledon, big respect for that club, the original crazy gang. And Dan's saying, I did need 3 goals minimum at the weekend to give us a goal difference. I don't think it will come down to goal difference. But he said he's taking my little boy, so they better let him down. What are you doing, Dan? Man, just bring some tissues, man, just in case he you know, it all goes wrong. That's what I say. That's my advice. But yeah, we'll leave it there. You know, thanks, Brian, for a top chat, a quick breakdown on what we've just seen. Arsenal going to Madrid and getting a positive result again. Let's hope we can finish off the job next Tuesday. But obviously, we've got a big game on Saturday where we can put the City team, you know, with all their big schedule that they've got to come, we can put them under a little bit of pressure. 6 points, 6-point lead possibly, and obviously they've got David Moyes, Arteta's dad or footballing dad. Let's see if he's done his son a favour. And you know, stranger things have happened, but let's see what happens. But thanks, Brian, for that. We'll be back next week with either a quick recap of the Fulham game. Hopefully, it's a good one, and then obviously a rapid reaction for the Atletico second leg. Hopefully, fingers crossed, it's going to be one where we're celebrating reaching a second final of the season. But let's see. Thanks, Brian. Thanks for everyone in the chat. A lot of great stuff. Really appreciate it. Really appreciate you spending your 42 minutes with us, or if it's less than that, with us tonight. As I said, we'll be back at the weekend and next week for the second leg. All I have to say is have a great rest of the week. Brian, take care. Love to you and yours and everybody else in the chat. And let's keep going. Let's have a really super special end to the season. Keep believing and come on, you Gunners.